Hello, everyone. Misty just gave me my Christmas present. It's right there. It's a giant gaming computer that I'm going to be setting up and moving all of my stuff over into, like a hermit crab switching shells. But I wanted to do a light video tonight. And I'm just going to respond to Robert Wallace and his video on Leah and Remini and Scientology. And I too have been watching this show, and I feel like it's actually coattailing off of the success of Going Clear, the HBO movie, and Going Clear is tailored towards a more skeptical look at Scientology. You know, for those of us who can understand the concepts behind how cults work. But Leah Remini's show on A&E, The Aftermath, it's basically, it's like at the level of Cops or Intervention. You know, it's made for TV, made to captivate a certain style of audience, not as highbrow as the movie Going Clear was on HBO. That documentary was fucking badass. Okay, Leah Remini's is more turning it into an entertainment thing. I'd even say that it's as lowbrow as Storage Wars. But what she is doing is very important. Yes, I agree with Robert Wallace on the point that this show, continuing in this trend of activists against Scientology and actors that have flipped and former members of Scientology, all coming out with their stories. This trend of Scientology having just dirty laundry aired all the time. This could be the death knell for it. You know, we could keep it from turning into the next worldwide religion by exposing it at this level. And what she's doing is very important. And I feel the same urge that Robert Wallace said he does, in that you kind of want to catch someone in that moment that they leave a religion and say, okay, you left that one, but you're still going to, you know, adopt this other general religion. Like, she's leaving Christianity, but, you know, people are like, well, now I've come to the realization that that was a cult, but other Christians are where I'm gonna hang my hat. You know, I'm gonna be a more generalized Christian, not that kind of thing, that which was a cult. Or you know, the Church of Scientology isn't even Christian anyway. You know, if you look at its tenets and its mythos behind it. But there's a lot of cults where people will leave, and it'll be based on Christianity, and they'll leave it, and they'll say, well, that was a cult, but now I found myself in, like, just non-denominational Christianity. I'm spiritual but not religious. You know, all of these splinter religions are false, so I'm going back to the pure Catholicism. You'll hear all of these things when people leave a cult, and it's like you feel like if you caught them in just that moment where they left and said, now take everything that you scrutinized in this religion and see these parallels in every other religion, you know, using the same scrutiny, the same concepts that you used to invalidate this little cult's beliefs, you could invalidate everything else that you could be jumping to, right? I can see that the desire is there to, like, say, hey, you freed yourself from this, why are you going to get stuck in this? You know? But, yeah, what she's doing is basically focusing on just that one cult that she left from, and hopefully people watching the show will realize that they could be stuck in a different cult that goes by a different name but uses the same practices. But I feel like in that moment, when people are stuck in that moment, where they've just left one belief and they're looking at, well, now how do I create my identity going forward? I feel like the biggest problem in people seeing their new religion with the same eyes that they saw the old one is people have this presupposition that everyone has to believe something, right? And they don't realize that not believing any of those things is an option. You know? They feel like this fellowship, this home that I had was one thing, but just like a hermit crab, I need a shell. You know? They don't realize that we're not hermit crabs. You know? You don't have to leave one mythos and then just go adopt another mythos. And I feel that's why atheists are the most threatening group of people to religious people. That's why we're trusted the least. It's because we go against that supposition of everyone has to believe something, right? When a Christian thinks about, well, would I allow my daughter to marry a Muslim versus would I let my daughter marry an atheist, they might actually think that it's possible to convert the Muslim from Islam to Christianity. But they're not going to think that they're going to convert their son-in-law from atheism to Christianity, because many of the tenets of both belief systems are similar. You have a soul, you have an afterlife, you have sin, right? All of those things are differences between atheists and Christians. So there's far less legwork involved in converting someone from one religion to the other, because they still have that presupposition that you have to believe something. So if you do give up your old religion, you could just pop into this new one, you know? And as long as you do that, you're safe. You're going to be in a fellowship. You're going to have family. You're going to be part of those people that still believe in something, you know? And what I feel going forward in this day and age is that as more and more people decide none of the above and decide that they're not going to accept another religion that has basically the same things wrong with it than the one that they left, as more and more people just throw up their hands and say, fuck it, I just want to live in reality, it's going to be easier for people going forward, because they're going to have examples all around them of people who don't have to believe anything.